We're back. Time now for the Politics Fix. We're joined by MSNBC political analyst Michelle Bernard and Salon.com's Joan Walsh, frequently seen here with Christopher Hitchens. Here is President Bush with ABC's Charlie Gibson.
I don't know. The biggest regret of all the presidency has to have been the intelligence failure in Iraq. A lot of people put their reputations on the line and said, the weapons of mass destruction is a reason to remove Saddam Hussein. It wasn't just people in my administration, and that's not a do-over. But I wish the intelligence had been different, I guess.
Joan, I'm not sure what the message there is. Is the president saying in retrospect that he would not have invaded and occupied Iraq as a matter of geopolitical policy had there been no weapons of mass destruction? He's saying that that was the single definitive reason why he went into that country and occupied it? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, it seems like it. Charlie Gibson did follow up with that question, Chris, and he wouldn't quite answer. But I just have to say, that is the most astonishing, buck-passing, self-pitying answer I could have imagined. He acts as though the intelligence agencies were some wholly owned subsidiary of some other administration rather than his responsibility. He acts like people outside the administration agreed when he was responsible for pushing that faulty intelligence, for stovepiping it and ignoring everything, that any kind of doubt, any kind of dissent, and really cooking the books in terms of the case for WMDs. I mean, it's scandalous how he seems to be distancing
I'll go further
himself.
than that. I don't think the WMD was the reason we went in there anyway. I think it was geopolitics.
Well, I
think he used that. He put that together. He had the vice president put it together. They used the British documents, the Italian papers, any kind of any kind of scheme they would come up with. They justified it. They never had hard evidence. In fact, they keep using that conflating term, weapons of mass destruction. If he thought they had nuclear weaponry, if he thought they had a bomb they could drop on Israel or anybody else, they should have said clearly and distinctly. What they did was use phrases like mushroom clouds and all this.
Right.
Well, your turn, Michelle. I just never thought that was the reason. I think he decided to go into Iraq for the day he got into office. He wanted to get in there, and so did the vice president. That was their policy for whatever reasons. And the WMD, first of all, the term they cooked up, WMD, I never liked that term.
Well,
say what you mean.
You know, two things I noticed in looking at the interview. His body language, he looked completely just worn out, spent, and looked to be a man who's thinking about his legacy and realizing that the legacy is going to be WMD. But I also wonder, when he used that line in talking about the people who put their lines on the reputation, I wondered if it was sort of a backdoor way to apologize to people like Colin Powell, who put his line, his reputation on the line. He testified before the entire world and justified going into Iraq on the basis of weapons of mass destruction, and he has never really been able to come back from going out and making that pronouncement to the entire world. And I wonder if the president is somehow trying to find a way to apologize to Secretary Powell and others.
You're more charitable.
Put the reputation on the line.
Why does he point the finger at his big brother, Dick Cheney? Why does he say the vice president put his finger on the scale? He put those lines in. He pushed that whole thing with Scooter Libby. They crushed any opposition. Anybody challenged it. You know, why didn't he just say that? He's going to blame this on George Tenet? I mean, give me a break. By the way, I wonder whether, anybody see the movie W? Have you seen it?
No,
I still haven't.
It's okay. It's all right. I mean, Oliver Stone's made some great movies and some movies I disagree with, but this is not one of the great ones, but it's okay. But it portrays Jeb Bush as the favored son of the Bush Sr. family, of Barbara and George Sr. And now we see that he may be running for the Senate down in Florida and may well win that seat. It's a conservative state. What do you make of that? Is this going to be a successful deliverance from the stigma of George W. by bringing Jeb in there, who's got a real mind for ideology, for politics, and who thinks for himself? He doesn't need a Dick Cheney around. Your thoughts? I know. I feel not only much of an answer. I give the answer to my own questions. I know.
Joan and Chris, I don't know if you saw years ago, Vanity Fair also did an article on the relationship between George W. and George Herbert Walker W. And it's the same sort of thing that you're talking about. It'll be real interesting. People, conventional wisdom is Jeb Bush is the favorite son. He's a better politician. But I think that history will look at each man as three very separate and very distinct individuals. And probably Bush 41 and whatever happens with Jeb Bush, their legacy might look a little bit more positive than the current president.
You got to wonder about evolution, too, when you see the advantages of 41 over 43, don't you? You got to wonder which way we're heading here.
Backwards?
Just kidding. We'll be right back. Just kidding. We'll be right back with Michelle. Little evolution joke there. Michelle Bernard and Joan Walsh will be back with more of the Politics Fix. You're watching Hardball, only on MSNBC.